Okay, here we go. This is session number 51. All righty. We are in chapter 7 still, and section 7, Roman numerals VII. So section 7, chapter 7, page 127. There's a theme there, okay? A pattern at least. Okay, and the name of this section is the Totality of the Kingdom. All right? And what I find in this section is that the statements are they're very powerful statements. You could just take some of them and just sit and think about them, right? They're making very strong declarations, okay? And another thing, with these strong declarations, always keep in mind that Jesus, right, your higher self, your guide, your brother, realizes this is a process, right, to remind us all of what Ken used to say, nobody goes poof, okay? And you shouldn't jump ahead, right? You shouldn't jump ahead. One time, one teacher of one sort or another I asked him a question, and he said, don't try to get into the Indianapolis 500 before you have your license, okay? And what he was just telling was take regard for the process, right? Don't try to jump right to the end. You're missing steps, all right? You're missing steps. You can't go walking down the street saying, well, this is not real, all right? That's not real, all right? I had a friend of mine who doesn't really know Course in Miracles, but he's an avowed atheist and nice guy, very nice guy. Likes to argue, all right, and likes to throw stuff back at you, you know. Yeah, but if this is not real, what are you worried about, you know? It's like, you know, I don't even know what to say at that point, you know. It's like, just trying to be normal, thank you, okay? And that's what Ken would tell us to do, is be normal in this world, right? Jesus is going to make powerful statements here, right? But he also knows that it's a process. And he would tell you that it's an unworthy form of denial to just say, no, that's not real. You know, to deny that I believe it's real, all right? When that, you know, that bicycle is coming straight at me on the sidewalk. Oh, that's not real. Well, be normal. And it's a process, all right? And just remember that the mind is very powerful, okay? We experience things as a process. We don't jump right ahead to the ending, okay? Keep those things in mind, all right? So the totality of the kingdom. Whenever you deny a blessing to a brother, you will feel deprived, because denial is as total as love. It is as impossible to deny a part of the sonship as it is to love it in part. Nor is it possible to love it totally at times. You cannot be totally committed sometimes. Denial has no power in itself, but you can give it the power of your mind, whose power is without limit. If you use it to deny reality, reality is gone for you. Reality cannot be partly appreciated. That is why denying any part of it means you have lost the awareness of all of it. Yet denial is a defense. And so it is as capable of being used positively as well as negatively. Used negatively, it will be destructive because it will be used for attack. But in the service of the Holy Spirit, it can help you recognize part of reality and thus appreciate all of it. Mind is too powerful to be subject to exclusion. You will never be able to exclude yourself from your thoughts. Okay, then. That's one of those things to think about, okay? You will never be able to exclude yourself from your thoughts. Okay? If this person or that group or this is that, and that, if these things are terrible or horrible or guilty, they're sinful, they're not worthy of God, they're not worthy of love, right? There's a special place in hell for them, you know? All right? You cannot remove yourself from that thought, all right? So there all of a sudden becomes a special place in hell for you, all right? Which, I might add, is experienced immediately. Okay, there's no waiting, right? Step right up next. No waiting, it's experienced immediately, all right? But let's take it from the top. So, because you can't exclude yourself from your thoughts, go to the top of the paragraph where he says, whenever you deny a blessing to your brother, you will feel deprived, because denial is as total as love. So when he talks about a blessing, when you deny a blessing to your brother, all right, what he's really talking about is when I'm guided by my ego and I'm judging that person, that's not a blessing, right? But when I'm asking my spiritual mind, my higher self, all right, when I'm asking Jesus, help me to see this brother correctly, I'm willing to see correctly, I'm offering him a blessing, all right? And when I don't do that, I will feel deprived, because denial is as total as love. Everyone is included, right? You can't just pick out a person or certain people to deny love to. All right? They're not worthy. They're not nice. They're not good. All right? It's total. Everybody's included. Right? It's impossible. It is as impossible to deny a part of the sonship as it is to love it in part. So I love these people. Oh, I love them. Right? I am. Oh, I'm a good person. Right? I go to this group, I go to this church, I'm involved with these people, we do charitable and spiritual things, right? And then, you know, we go to parades or demonstrations and hold up signs saying how the other people are, you know, condemned, all right? It doesn't work. You can't love the sonship partially, you know? I like these people, I don't like that people. Okay? Those people. All right? Nor is it possible to love it totally at times. Okay? Yes, I love the entire creation of God. All right? And, you know, 20 minutes later, you're having an argument, or you're just annoyed, you're angry, and not saying anything, but you're angry at the person that cut in front of you at the farmer's market. All right, there's a line here. I heard somebody adamantly screaming that out the other day. There's a line here. Thank God it wasn't me that was skipping the line. Okay. So you cannot be totally committed sometimes. All right? Like we said last session, you're in or you're out. Okay? But we experience things as, oh, I spent so much time in that right-minded, then I drifted away. All right? That's how we experience things. All right? So denial, he says, has no power in itself. But you can give it the power of your mind, whose power is without limit. All right? He says if you use it to deny reality, reality is gone for you. All right? So what he means by denial at this point is the denial of who you are. The denial of your true self. The denial of your incorporation in the oneness. Right? The denial that you were created as your creator. Right? And when we turn our back on that, we deny it. All right? And it's our power, it's the power of our mind. Well, we entertain the thought that we can be separate from the oneness. I can be other than an extension of God. Right? That thought rose up, and then we gave it the power of the mind. We believed it, and automatically, as they say, the carpet of time rolled out. All right? This entire universe was created, was made. Right? They make that distinction between making and creating. All right? As Dr. Wapnick's wife Gloria used to say, it was miscreated. Right? But by giving that thought the power of the mind, that I could be separate from God, I could deny who I really am. Right? This entire thing on every level, right? If you string theorists, on every level, it was miscreated or made by giving the thought of separation, giving it power by a very powerful mind. All right? Your mind is powerful without a limit, he says. All right? He says if you use the power of your mind to deny reality, which is your existence, right? Your abstract existence in the mind of God, in the infinite spaciousness, right? Just extending the abundant love that you have been given and that you are, right? If you deny that, it's gone, and it's gone for you. In the psychological terms, we use the term we split off. We split off from it. Right? We just deny it. Never happened. And as they say, what you split off from, you forget. All right? So he says, if you deny it, it's gone for you. Okay? So reality cannot be partly appreciated. This is why denying any part of it means you have lost the awareness of all of it. All right? So if I go around judging people, and he says you've lost the awareness of the totality. All right? You've lost the awareness of who you are. Okay? He says, yet denial is a defense. Right? And so it is capable of being used positively as well as negatively. Right? Used negatively, it will be destructive because it will be used for attack. And the attack is, no, I'm not the Son of God. I'm not part of the oneness. I'm separated. That's the denial of who you are. All right? That's using it negatively. and it becomes an attack on the oneness. It denies the oneness. Right? It denies that you are an extension of God. Right? There's no place where God ends and you begin. Okay? And that denial of that is termed an attack in the Course. Okay? And then the whole Megillah rolls out also. Then we start projecting in order to get rid of the guilt of the attack. Now we think God is attacking. Right? It's the attack-defense cycle that's talked about in psychology also. This is a very spiritual psychology, very psychological spirituality. Okay? So to deny any part of it means you've lost the awareness of all of it. Yet denial is a defense. Used negatively, it's destructive. Right? But in the service of the Holy Spirit, it can help you recognize part of reality and thus appreciate all of it. See, that's the process of it. All right? We start to say, I don't want this. I don't want the separation. Right? I don't want the ego. Right? And it begins with our brother, the other, right? Where we get to the point where I can't take the conflict anymore. I can't take the pain anymore. Right? There has to be a better way. All right? That's the invitation to open your mind to the Holy Spirit and to start using denial in a positive sense by saying no to the ego, to the ego's thoughts, to the ego's suggestions, to the ego's perception of things. He's guilty, and then it never ends. It never ends. I'm rubber, you're glue. It never ends. So if you deny the impulse, you just say, okay, I don't want this anymore. All right? And then you reach out to your higher self. You reach out to the Holy Spirit, to Jesus, to the memory of who you are. And you ask, you tell him, I'm willing to see this correctly. All right? That's using denial in a positive sense. Okay? And in each instance, we get to see a part of reality. Right? Because the moment you're in that holy instant saying, please help me see this correctly, the illusion has disappeared. Time and space have disappeared in that instant. Okay? And you get to realize a bit of reality. All right? And the process is, as we experience it, little by little, all of a sudden you get that aha moment when you just understand what is real, right? And you understand, who am I? All right? Or what am I? All right? We're working toward that, all right? And as I say, Jesus knows its process, okay? Because at one point in the book he will talk about quantitative shifts. In other words, there's so many shifts, so many times that you deny the ego. I don't want to see it through the ego. Help me to see correctly. All right, then you have a shift. And then this is all of a sudden there's a quality, there's a change in the quality of the shift. It's as if the mind opens more. And it's just like, oh, now I get it, right? And you want more of that, and that comes quickly, right? Because you will want it. Your desire will be more powerful. Okay. So sentence 11 in paragraph 1. In the service of the Holy Spirit, it can help you recognize part of reality and thus appreciate all of it. Mind is too powerful to be subject to exclusion. All right? You can't cut off pieces of it. The mind is just too powerful. So you will never be able to exclude yourself from your thoughts. All right? You can't step outside. Okay? There's a line that course students know. Thoughts do not leave the mind of the thinker. All right? All right? You cannot separate yourself from your thoughts. You can't exclude yourself. So, if he's a turkey, you're a turkey. All right? I mean, if he's a turkey, you think of yourself as a turkey. All right? And you're trying to get rid of that. All right? So, we'll move on to paragraph 2. When a brother acts insanely, he is offering you an opportunity to bless him. His need is yours. You need the blessing you can offer him. There is no way for you to have it except by giving it. This is the law of God, and it has no exceptions. What you deny, you lack, because it is lacking, not because it is lacking. Let's correct that. What you deny, you lack, not because it is lacking, but because you have denied it in another and are therefore not aware of it in yourself. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. And what you want to be is what you think you are. What you want to be then must determine every response you make. All right? Think about that. What you want to be must determine every response you make. Well, do I want to be a separated individual? Or do I want to be unified in the oneness of God? What is it you want to be? Because what you want to be will determine all your responses to everything. Okay? That's similar to the one problem, one solution. Well, what do you want to be? I want to be separate. I want to be an individual. Top of the world, Ma. Right? Or on the front of the ship, king of the world. All right? So back to the beginning of paragraph 2, when he's talking about a brother acting insanely, he's talking about anyone who's being guided by the ego thought system. All right? Which is, I got to get mine. There's not enough. You did it to me. All that stuff. Okay? So when a brother is acting insanely, he's offering you an opportunity to bless him. All right? And we have many people like that in our lives. As Jesus will say later on in one of the lessons, you probably have someone in mind already. All right? Someone who's a particular obstacle to your peace, let's say. Okay? All right? But when they're acting crazy, when they're acting violently, or they're demeaning, or they're incredibly sad and depressed, and all right, they're acting according to the thoughts that come along with the ego, with the thought of separation. So he says they're offering you an opportunity to bless them. Right? They're offering me and you an opportunity to ask, help me to see this person correctly. I'm willing to see correctly. I'm willing to see through the eyes of love. Which doesn't necessarily mean that in form things are all of a sudden going to change. All right? This person may be seriously depressed. They may be violent, right? They may be emotionally demeaning, right? They may be, as we say, energetic vampires, all right? But the blessing is, help me to see this brother correctly. Help me to see this other correctly, all right? And with that, because minds are joined, all right, love answers the call, all right? Because they're acting insanely because of what they think has been deprived, all right? They think they're deprived of love, actually. One problem, all right? No matter what it looks like, all right? And what we're doing when we say, help me to see them correctly, we're inviting the love to come through us to fill the void that they think exists. All right? And as I say, it might not change the form of whatever's happening or what it looks like, but it's in the mind. It's in the mind of the other also. So it's waiting for them to remember it. Okay? And what we are asking for them, we receive for ourselves. All right? Because the giving and receiving are simultaneous. Okay? And he says, his need is yours. So whatever they're doing, they're acting out because they think they're cut off from love. They've been deprived of love. They're victims of the system. There's myriad roles, there's myriad of things to act out on, and what we do is we supply it. But he says, their need is yours. And what's our need? Our need is to wake up from the illusion, wake up from that thought that says, I'm cut off from love. All right? In other words, to wake up from the dream of exile. All right? However you want to put it. Their need, the reason they're acting out, is the same as my need. All right? And when I ask, help me to fulfill the need. All right? That void I experience in myself is filled. Okay? And so, his need is yours. You need the blessing you can offer him. There is no way for you to have it except by giving it. Okay? This is the law of God, and it has no exceptions. All right? I know it keeps bugging me now when I go over this, that I said a couple of sessions ago. I might have said it a couple of times. The law of God is oneness. Okay? But here, we can also say, here's another one in our experience, that giving and receiving are simultaneous. All right? You give and you get it at the same time. So if I'm giving out condemnation, if I'm giving out judgment, hello, I'm reinforcing that in myself. This person is guilty. I'm reinforcing the guilt in myself, no matter what it looks like. It may look different, but I'm getting that back. If that's my gift to my brother, that's the gift to me. In another part in the book, Jesus will say, if he spoke not of Christ to you, you spoke not of Christ to him. All right? So if he's, thinking negatively of you, you've done the same thing with him. Okay? So what you deny, you lack. Not because it is lacking, but because you've denied it in another, and are therefore not aware of it in yourself. So if I'm judging this person as guilty, what I'm doing is denying that he is a son of God. He has the love of God. He is the love of God. Right? We're looking past the form, looking past the body, okay, to what he truly is. Right? So if I'm railing against what I think he is, then he says, you're denying that he is part of this sonship, and therefore you're denying yourself the inclusion in the sonship. Okay. So not because it is lacking, right? Because you denied it in him. It's not lacking, it's just that you denied it in him, so you deny it in yourself also. You're not aware of it. Right? Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. Right? Are you separated, or are you part of the oneness? Every response will be according to that choice, that decision. Right? You're going to be acting and perceiving things through those filters. The filter of separation or the filter of oneness and inclusion. Okay. So, every response you make is determined by what you think you are. And what you want to be is what you think you are. All right? She's telling us this is a choice, bro. This is a choice. All right? What you want to be then must determine every response you make. He's telling us to take responsibility for our situations. All right? He says, this is what you want. You want to be separated. You want to believe you're separated. So here's the consequences. Here's the results. Right? It's not, eternal damnation, because sooner or later you'll get fed up. There'll be too much. It's too painful. It's just too horrible, too disappointing, too lonely. And we say there must be a better way. The mind's invitation to the memory of who you are, to the memory of what you really want. Okay? So what you want to be is what you think you are. Right? What you want to be then must determine every response you make. All right? And you'll say, if we practice, and he's spoken enough about vigilance so far. He'll do more later. We could be vigilant for when we've strayed into that ego existence, that you or me existence. All right? And you took it from me, give it back. You know? You'll start to notice that. Right? And you'll want to be something other than that. The constant competition, and competition is a nice word for it, really. You know, it's, I've got to get mine. That's it. You know, and if I don't have it, you took it, so I'm going to take it from you. You know, after a while you get tired of it, and you want to be something other than that. And you invite the memory of who you really are to come into your awareness. And vigilance knows when you strayed back to the conflict, and then you say, no, I don't want that. I want to deny that. I want to come back. I want to learn who I really am. That's what I want to be. All right? And your actions will reflect that decision, what you want to be. Okay? Paragraph 3. You do not need God's blessing because that you have forever, but you do need yours. The ego's picture of you is deprived, unloving, and vulnerable. You cannot love this. Yet, you can very easily escape from this image by leaving it behind. You are not there, and that is not you. All right? Do not see this picture in anyone, or you have accepted it as you. All illusions about the sonship are dispelled together, as they were made together. Teach no one that he is what you would not want to be. Your brother is the mirror in which you see the image of yourself, as long as perception lasts. And perception will last until the sonship knows itself as whole. You made perception, and it must last as long as you want it. Okay. So he makes that powerful statement. Right? He says, well, first of all, he says, God doesn't need your blessing. He says, but you need your blessing. You need to see yourself correctly. You need to be willing to see yourself correctly. Okay? Because the ego sees you as deprived. You're deprived of love. Right? You're incapable of being loved now. Right? And you're very vulnerable because God's going to come get you. Something's going to get you. All right? Another part, Jesus says, uncertain, lonely, and in constant fear. That's our condition. That's the condition in which we live every day. Okay? But Jesus makes this powerful statement. He said, you are not there, and that is not you. Okay? You're not there. You're not in that world. And it's not you. That's not who you are. All right? You're not Kevin. All right? You're not Kevin with the aging body. All right? That is not you. All right? But as I said before, in the prelude, so to speak, is that Jesus makes a powerful statement like that. But he knows it's a process. So take it as a process. Because he's saying that perception is going to last as long as you want it. Okay? And so what we do in order to get rid of it, to not want it, is we ask for help. Help me to see. Help me to perceive things correctly. All right? Because the more I see things correctly, the easier it is to just one day step away from perception. All right? And to get into what Jesus calls vision. All right? To know the truth. All right? And meanwhile, he says, your brother is the image, is the mirror. All right? It's the brother, your brother is the mirror. It shows you how you see yourself. Right? This guy's arrogant. This guy is a thief. You know, in other words, you might not be a thief per se, but on some level, you've seen yourself as taking the power of God. Okay? So, that guilt, it might look different in him, but he's the mirror image of what you think you are. All right? You might get angry at the perpetrator you see on the news. All right? He's he just takes what he wants. He just takes what he wants. You know, I don't do that. I don't knock people down and take their stuff, But as I say, we think we took the power, right? We think we took away the love. We took away the oneness. We stole it, right? Now God's chasing after us. Give me that. Get that back to me, right? And we have to run and hide in the world, in the universe. And then when we think we're caught, we blame it on everybody else. It wasn't me. It wasn't my idea. And so it goes, okay? As the late, great Kurt Vonnegut would say, so it goes, okay? So your brother is the mirror in which you see the image of yourself, as long as perception lasts. And perception will last until the sonship knows itself as whole. You made perception, and it must last as long as you want it. Paragraph 4, illusions are investments. They will last as long as you value them. Values are relative, but they are powerful because they are mental judgments. The only way to dispel illusions is to withdraw all investment from them, and they will have no life. They will have no life for you because you will have put them out of your mind. While you include them in it, you are giving life to them, except there is nothing there to receive your gifts. Okay? So, Jesus is going to tell us this whole thing that we experience here is an illusion. All right? But it's an investment. All right? It's an investment in the belief in separation. All right? And he says, well, you invest in something that you value. Right? He says, but you can withdraw. Right? You can withdraw your investment in that thought of separation because you don't value it anymore. All right? You'll stop giving the illusion life, all right, by believing it, by giving it the power of your mind. All right? So we withdraw our investment in the illusion and we divest, we get away from it. All right? We put it out of our mind. All right? It will have no life. This is why you include them in your mind, you are giving them life. This is the only catch is there's nothing there to receive your gift. All right? Put plain and simply, there's nothing out there. There's no one out there. There's nothing, no one other than your mind as part of God's. All right? He says, you may think you're giving life to the illusion. You're animating this whole dream. He says, but there's nothing there to give life to. All right? Once again, it's a statement telling us that this all is a major hallucination. All right? But yet we work out of it step by step, folks, okay? All right? There's no metaphysical Haldol or whatever the hell they call it. All right? There's no metaphysical medicine that will stop except going to the right mind. Okay? So, paragraph 5. Before I go, all of a sudden I'm getting bugged here by myself. Anyone who needs medication for, even hallucination. All right? All right? I am not diminishing that. I hope it didn't sound that way. All right? You do what needs to be done to stabilize yourself in this existence. Okay? And from that point of stabilization, you can reach out for help. Help me to see correctly. All right? You never know. The medication might be the result of a right-minded decision. All right? Because we experience ourselves as specific, we experience our lives as individual and specific lives. So if you and your situation need a specific medication or tonic of some sort, do it. Do it. Stabilize yourself. Okay? So, sometimes I revert to my old wisecracking self. So, all right, I'm asking you to bless me here. Okay? So, paragraph 5. The gift of life is yours to give because it was given you. You are unaware of your gift because you do not give it. You cannot make nothing live, since nothing cannot be enlivened. Therefore, you are not extending the gift you both have and are, and so you do not know your being. All confusion comes from not extending life, because that is not the will of your Creator. You can do nothing apart from Him, and you do nothing apart from Him. Keep His way to remember yourself, and teach His way lest you forget yourself. Give only honor to the sons of the living God, and count yourself among them gladly. Okay? Basically reiterating what we've said, only, saying it very more beautifully. So the opportunity is there to give the gift of life, okay? To ask, how can I see this person correctly? That's offering the gift of life, all right, by looking past the form, okay? It's yours to give because it was given you. You can have it extend through you the way it was extended to you, all right? And he says, but you're unaware of your gift because you don't give it. So the more you give it, the more you'll be aware of your part in the sonship. You'll start to become aware of who you are. Right? So he says, look, you can't make nothing live. Right? Nothing cannot be enlivened. Therefore, you are not extending the gift you both have and are, and so you do not know your being. All right? All confusion comes from not extending life. Right? You can do nothing apart from God. Right? He says, and you don't do anything apart from God. Right? In other words, he's telling us it's a dream. What's happening is you are, in the mind of God, extending love. Right? So you're not aware of it. Okay, you're just not aware of it. All right, because the confusion comes from not extending life. Right? The confusion comes from believing you're separated from that creative process. Okay? So, and he's just reiterating, this is a way to remember yourself and teach his way lest you forget yourself. Right? Constantly asking, allowing love to be extended through you. All right, help me to see this correctly. Okay? And then he says, look, this way you give honor only to the sons of the living God and count yourself among them. All right? That's who you are. So paragraph 6. Only honor is a fitting gift for those whom God himself created worthy of honor and whom he honors. Give them the appreciation God accords them always, because they are his beloved sons in whom he is well pleased. You cannot be apart from them because you are not apart from him. Rest in his love and protect your rest by loving. But love everything he created of which you are a part, or you cannot learn of his peace and accept his gift for yourself as yourself. You cannot know your own perfection until you have honored all those who were created like you. All right? It's again saying the same things again. Okay? Honor is the only thing that's a fitting gift for you. All right? So, appreciate the brotherhood, right? And you will know yourself. Because you cannot know your own perfection until you have honored all those who were created like you. All right. There's no difference. Okay. Paragraph 7. One child of God is the only teacher sufficiently worthy to teach another. One teacher is in all minds, and he teaches the same lesson to all. He always teaches you the inestimable worth of every son of God, teaching it with infinite patience, born of the infinite love for which he speaks. Every attack is a call for his patience, since his patience can translate attack into blessing. Right? Those who attack do not know they are blessed. They attack because they believe they are deprived. Give, therefore, your abundance, and teach your brothers theirs. Do not share their illusions of scarcity, or you will perceive yourself as lacking. Okay? Right. He says one teacher is in the minds of all. Right? The one teacher, the higher self, the Holy Spirit, Jesus. All right? All those synonyms. They're in the mind of all. Okay? And he teaches the same lesson. Teaches the same lesson. You're never separated. Right? You are in the mind of God. Right? You are an extension of God's love. Right? You have and you are everything. Right? It teaches the same thing to everyone. So, every attack is a call for his patience. All right? And that's what they'll talk about the Holy Spirit and forgiveness. Right? Right? It merely looks on devastation. Right? The Holy Spirit looks and waits, and judges not. Okay? Just constantly extending the idea of goodness. Okay? So his patience can translate attack into blessing, because those who attack do not know they are blessed. Right? Back to the beginning of the session, we were saying that. Right? They attack because they believe they are deprived. Right? So therefore, give of your abundance. Ask, how can I see this correctly? There's all different ways. The words don't matter. All right? What does love look like in this situation? I want it to come through me. Right? So I'm giving of my abundance to someone who thinks they don't have. Right? Thinks that there's something lacking in their life. Okay? So he says, don't share the illusion of scarcity. Don't join in on that. All right? Otherwise, you'll perceive yourself as lacking. You'll see yourself the same way. All right? So, paragraph 8, attack could never promote attack unless you perceived it as a means of depriving you of something you want. Yet, you cannot lose anything unless you do not value it, and therefore do not want it. This makes you feel deprived of it, and by projecting your own rejection, you then believe that others are taking it from you. You must be fearful if you believe that your brother is attacking you to tear the kingdom of heaven from you. This is the ultimate basis for all the ego's projection. All right? And no matter how many times I've read this paragraph, I'm sure at the end of the paragraph, or even halfway through, I'm going, what? What is he talking about? Okay? He says, you cannot lose anything unless you do not value it. Okay? So, and then he says, you must be fearful. All right? If you believe your brother is attacking you to tear the kingdom of heaven from you. Because if you think you can lose the kingdom of heaven, then he says you don't really value it. Because if you valued it, you would know that it can't be lost. It can't be taken from you. All right? He says you can't lose anything unless you do not value it. All right? And therefore do not want it. So if I'm in on the defending myself, you can't have it, don't take it, you took it from me. He says, that means you've already not wanted your abundance, all right? You don't value it. So now you're in this ego thought system where the chaos continues, okay? So it's one of those paragraphs you can read and reread, and then as you continue to study the course, if you come back over it again, all of a sudden, oh, now I get it. Okay. So paragraph 9, being the part of your mind that does not believe it is responsible for itself, and being without allegiance to God, the ego is incapable of trust. Projecting its insane belief that you have been treacherous to your Creator, it believes that your brothers, who are as incapable of this as you are out to take God from you. Whenever a brother attacks another, that is what he believes. Projection always sees your wishes in others. If you choose to separate yourself from God, that is what you will think others are doing to you. So this is helping to clarify that previous paragraph. And he's describing the ego here. The ego is the part of your mind that doesn't believe it's responsible for itself. I'm a victim. I didn't do anything. How did I get here? I didn't ask to be born. All that nonsense. All right? The ego is the part of the mind that doesn't believe it's responsible for itself. And because it has no allegiance to God, right, you can't trust the ego. You just can't trust it. All right? Projecting its insane belief that you have been treacherous to your Creator, it believes that your brothers, who are as incapable of this as you are out to take God from you. Okay? So automatically we're into projection. The ego wants us to project the insane belief that you've been treacherous to your Creator, right? You've denied your place in the kingdom. You've denied everything. You say, I could be separate from my Creator. You've been treacherous to your Creator. The ego tells you that's what you did, but you didn't do it, okay? You didn't do that. This is what the Holy Spirit is trying to remind you of. You never did that, because everything rolls out from that belief. All right? Because it's projecting that insane belief. Right? It believes that your brothers are out to take God from you. Right? Because, hey, you're not responsible. You didn't do it. Right? It's not, your mind is not responsible for itself. Your brothers must have taken God from you. Right? So whenever a brother attacks another, this is what he believes. All right? Projection always sees your wishes in others. If you choose to separate yourself from God, that is what you will think others are doing to you. All right? So remember that. Projection always sees your wishes in others. Okay? So, paragraph 10. You are the will of God. Do not accept anything else as your will, or you're denying what you are. Deny this, and you will attack, believing you have been attacked. But see the love of God in you, and you will see it everywhere, because it is everywhere. See his abundance in everyone, and you will know that you are in him and with him. They are part of you, as you are part of God. You are as lonely without understanding this, as God himself is lonely when his sons do not know him. The peace of God is understanding this. Right? This is only one way out of the world's thinking, just as there was only one way into it. Understand totally by understanding totality. Okay? So his abundance is everyone, is in everyone. It's total. The totality of everything is in everyone. Okay? Understand it, and it's yours. Okay? You will understand everything. All right? And the way we come to understanding it is by asking for help. Help me to see things correctly. Perceive any part of the ego's thought system as wholly insane, wholly delusional, and wholly undesirable, and you have correctly evaluated all of it. This correction enables you to perceive any part of creation as wholly real, wholly perfect, and wholly desirable. Wanting this only, you will have this only. And giving this only, you will be only this. The gifts you offer to the ego are always experienced as sacrifices, but the gifts you offer to the kingdom are gifts to you. They will always be treasured by God because they belong to his beloved sons, who belong to him. All power and glory are yours because the kingdom is his. So he's telling us, perceive any part of the ego's thought system as wholly undesirable, wholly delusional, and you have correctly evaluated all of it. Okay? And this correction enables you to perceive any part of creation as wholly real, wholly perfect, and wholly desirable. Right? So when we ask to see correctly, the correction arises in our mind and we want more and more of it, right? We just want it. It's wholly desirable. And wanting only this, you will have this. All right? And giving only this, you will be this. Right? So, being willing to see the other's innocence, you will become aware of your own, right? And you will become innocence, right? That's the process. That's the process. And you can plug in other words, you know, but the innocence is what we use to counteract the guilt. All right? But there's the happiness, the invulnerability. All that is rolled into the innocence that we truly are. And by giving it, we receive it. All right? And the way we give it is by noticing, oh, I'm projecting the ego thoughts, the guilt, and I don't want them anymore. Help me to see this correctly. In that moment, I am offering the gift, and I receive the gift, the awareness of innocence. Okay, the awareness of the inclusion in the totality of the kingdom. Okay. We leave it there. Until next time, all right, we will smile through the day.